war is not a video game. This is for real, and it's permanent.
They got Axel's personal information through the high school.
I started getting calls from military recruiters.
You can't block their calls, I found out. I called my phone company. I said, why is my call blocking not working for this number? And she goes, well, does it have anything to do with government?
If it was like a marketer that kept on trying to call you, that would be illegal. But it's okay for the military to do that because apparently they don't have to answer to anybody.
Those calls continued for 2 years. And I said, how'd you get this number? Please take my daughter off your list. Well, it's just an automatic, it comes up on our system, ma'am.
It's easy. At the end of every school year, the guidance counselors give the recruiters a list of social security number, phone number, address. With No Child Left Behind, it made it a requirement that these schools give up that information. All that was left up to me was just pick up the phone and dial their number.
I think most parents are not aware of the fact that their students' information is being shared with the military. We have parents who wake up one morning to find out that their students have been recruited into the military without their knowledge.
That one fateful day, he answered the phone and they just had him hooked. And then he headed off up to Bellingham, and he was there all day doing tests. Felt like they were taking him away and isolating him so they could work on him some more, and it frightened me. We were all trying to get through to Axel. No one would return our calls. They wouldn't let Axel call me back, and we were planning to just, as soon as I got off work, go down there and just get him. And we went in and we sat and waited for 10, 20 minutes. They were leading him down another hall. They weren't taking him in to see us, and that kind of upset us. We were already quite upset, and we just both grabbed him by the arms and said, we have to go right now. It doesn't seem right. I mean, you warn your kids not to take candy from strangers, but you don't think that you're going to have to warn them to not take Xboxes from recruiters.
The high schools are the recruiter's lifeblood.
Recruiters usually come to our campus once or twice a week.
The military recruiters had a rock climbing wall and a big tank, and they had girls in short shorts.
One time, some Navy officers were in the library, and one of the guys just looked over at us and he was like, hey, you guys should join the Navy. You can party every night.
She was invited to some pizza party field trip where they're just going to do a bunch of tests. Nothing mentioned about the military.
They were giving out T-shirts and pencils, and they all if you can do a certain amount of pull-ups or whatever, then you can get a T-shirt.
It was a chin-up contest, and whoever did the most chin-ups won this Xbox.
Recruiter, you have to utilize every tool, that's available to you.
Any school which refuses to comply with the provisions of the No Child Left Behind Act, including sending the private information of students to military recruiters, is threatened with the loss of their federal funding. I'm incensed as a teacher that federal funding is held hostage to turning over private information of students to military recruiters. I think it's outrageous.
Marines, they live by a certain creed or code: honor, courage, commitment, semper fidelis, always faithful. But when I became a recruiter, all of a sudden the Marine Corps was asking me to bend the truth and lie, cheat, manipulate, steal, beg, borrow, do whatever I had to do in order for me to achieve a contract. I recruited 75 contracts over a 3-year period, and out of that, 95% of them were fraudulently enlisted. Say a young man had asthma when he was younger. If they told me that they used an inhaler, a week ago, then I would say you don't have asthma.
Military recruitment targets our most vulnerable kids.
I'll see a group of 6 minority kids at the table, and the recruiter will just be ignoring all the kids who look like fairer skin.
We see recruiters going to poorer communities to try to get the people who are most desperate.
It's clear to me that they're really just trying to make their quotas.
For every new school year, it's a requirement that you pull at least one body out of that high school. In order for you to be successful every month, you need to write at least 3 and 4 contracts per month. The stress is tremendous.
I was 18 years old when I was recruited. My goals were to become a counselor, a child therapist. I was trying to figure out how to make ends meet, how to support myself, and how to continue in college. I was approached by a girl in my class, in one of my classes, and she was kind of trying to make it out like, this is the best thing ever, and they're paying for my school. But then I found out later that there had been a contest to see who could get the most names. Well, they promised that school would be taken care of. I wouldn't have to worry about paying for anything. The thing that I was really concerned about was, what if I'm asked to kill somebody? And they pretty much promised that that wasn't going to happen. They would have us, stab these dummies and yell, kill, kill, kill. The drill sergeant would yell, what makes the green grass grow? And we were supposed to answer, blood, blood, bright red blood, drill sergeant. I'm like, hey, wait, this isn't what I signed up for.
I will have you do it again if you don't do it right.
I knew it would be hard physically, and I was prepared for that, but just the way they screw with you mentally and try and break you down, and they really did break people down. This girl, we knew she was upset, but she wasn't bad enough to be put on suicide watch. She asked to see the chaplain. They wouldn't let her talk to the right people. I was on guard duty, but she disappeared into the bathroom for kind of a long time, so I went to check on her. She had slit her wrists. She was only 17, and she could have gone home whenever she wanted to if she'd known.
He just liked helping people, and he was going to go to university and be an elementary school teacher. He loved kids. He always taught religious education at our church. And when he was 21, a recruiter got a hold of Casey at a vulnerable time for him, and because Casey had resisted recruiters for years since he was like a junior in high school. And the recruiter made a lot of promises to Casey that were broken. Casey was told he would get $20,000. When he finished training, he got $4,500. He was promised he could take college classes while he was in the Army, and he was never approved to take any classes. He tried to register every semester, and they wouldn't let him. He was promised he could be a chaplain's assistant. When he got to boot camp, he was told that that specialty was filled, and he would have to be a Humvee mechanic or a cook. His recruiter promised him that because he scored so high on the ASVAB test, that he would never see combat. I believe they left for Iraq on March 19th. For the 2 weeks he was gone, I was a nervous wreck. I got home from walking my dogs. I turned the corner from the garage, and I could see 3 Army officers standing in my living room. And as soon as I saw them, I knew why they were there. If I had the opportunity to get his name off the list, I definitely would have.
Had I known there was an opt-out form to sign, I would have definitely signed it before any of this happened with my son.
There is a provision within the No Child Left Behind Act that allows parents to opt out.
The Leave My Child Alone Coalition formed to help spread awareness among families and give them some easy tools to opt out of the military recruitment list. As a parent, as a community member, as a student, as a teacher, there are really specific actions to take right away. Go to the Leave My Child Alone site, enter the information, and a letter is automatically generated. Call your local district, find out what their policy is. Go to your local school board meetings. Get off the Pentagon database. Print up a big stack of opt-out forms. Tell people, spread the word.
I don't know if our kids can see their future because they're just kids. But we can see their future and we want them to have a future. So look for them. Seek the information out for them. And don't be afraid to tell them, honestly, what they're not being told.
All that was left up to me was just pick up the phone and dial their number.
I think most parents are not aware of the fact that their students' information is being shared with the military. We have parents who wake up one morning to find out that their students have been recruited into the military without their knowledge.
They got Axel's personal information through the high school.
I started getting calls from military recruiters.
You can't block their calls, I found out. I called my phone company. I said, why is my call blocking not working for this number? And she goes, well, does it have anything to do with government?
If it was like a market.
It's easy. At the end of every school year, the guidance counselors give their recruiters a list of social security number, phone number, address. With No Child Left Behind, it made it a requirement that these schools give up that information.
That kept on trying to call you, that would be illegal. But it's okay for the military to do that because apparently they don't have to answer to anybody.
Those calls continued for 2 years. And I said, how'd you get this number? Please take my daughter off your list. Well, it's just an automatic, it comes up on our system, ma'am.
War is not a video game. This is for real and it's permanent.